What's up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. Say hello to my co-hosts, Heather C. and DeeDee Casteel. Hi, guys. This is
Hi.
episode 2 of the George Mossey Show, the pop culture podcast. Episode 1 was a lot of fun. As you guys know, we're going to be discussing many different topics, a wide array of topics. We are trying to avoid, like the plague, any 90-Day Fiance topics because we have already talked about that and we will talk about that because I know there's some stuff that happened this week that we're going to talk about in the podcast. But no, we are not talking about that here at the George Mossey Show for the Pop Culture Podcast. We're sticking to what's going on in the world right now. And I think the first thing that caught my attention this week, it happened earlier in the week, was Britney Spears and her dance routine with what appeared to be very sharp knives. And, you know, DeeDee, we were talking about this last week because I was like, is Britney okay? Like, I know that her fans wanted her to be free and they wanted her to be able to express herself and be able to make her own decisions. But is she okay? And I think the dancing videos and everything, people are like, well, she's happy. She's finally doing what she wants. But dancing with really sharp knives, I don't know how I feel about that. How do you guys feel about what we're watching? Because, you know, we all love Britney. Her music is unquestionably and undeniably music of the century, the decade. She's done it. She's a legend. But how do we feel about what she's doing right now?
Well, I can start off by saying anytime you're dancing with knives, that's already a very bad sign. Something is really going on. And then you have your poor little puppies in the background with like they're startled. If they if they're startled, something is definitely going on. But I don't believe what she said when she said that that no one needs to worry about her, that she is mentally stable. I don't believe that. You can tell by her face, by her face expressions, by the way she's acting, the way she's talking. She's not okay.
Oh, and I want to interject. I forgot to say, the police did do a welfare check on her, and they spoke only to her security. She told her security she did not want to speak to the police, and her security said that she's okay. So, Heather, how do you feel about the fact that she wouldn't even let the police conduct the welfare check? They couldn't even interact with her. And I feel like a welfare check should be conducted regardless of if you're famous or not. If someone is worried about your well-being, they should be able to see that you're okay, right?
Okay, well, you know that I'm gonna protect Britney at all costs because no one loves Britney like I do. But she has already had a welfare check on her from her fans. The same people that wanted to free Britney felt like it was necessary to do a welfare check on her. When clearly, this is what I was saying to my friend. I'm like, you know, as much as I love Britney and I want to see her have a normal life, as much normal life as she possibly can, clearly she's suffering from something. And which a lot of celebrities do, especially ones that grew up in the spotlight, that, you know, had their parents manage them or mismanage them, you know, and then she went through a lot of traumatic stuff. I think that Britney says that the knives were not real and that they were prop knives, and she wanted to recreate the dance that Shakira did, because apparently Shakira had a knife dance type of thing. But the funny part about Britney is that she didn't say all that. She just kind of showed up with a video one day spinning around her living room with her knives. So, you know, she forgot to, you know, she left that part out. But, you know, I think that she needs some type of help or conservatorship. It just shouldn't be her family. She needs somebody professional to be able to keep an eye on her well-being, her assets, her career, you know, make sure that, you know, she's getting any type of help or treatment that she needs. Because now at this point, she basically looks like a joke to the whole entire world that wanted to save her. And that's triggering to someone who actually like loves her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just want the best for her. And I just think that it's crazy that, you know, one minute you're in her corner and the next minute you're like, Britney's crazy. Well, hello. She had a conservatorship for a reason. They didn't find that she was stable enough to be on her own.
You said something interesting. You said that her conservatorship is needed, but it shouldn't be her family. You feel like the conservatorship that was with her family was healthy?
No, I don't. because I feel like they let greed get the best of them. And if you know their backstory of their family, her father had a long history with like alcohol abuse and anger and, controlling. And then it stemmed way back to his family. And they had a lot of past trauma in their family. And I think that he was in no predicament to try to be the legal guidance to his daughter. I feel like you raise your children, and then there's only so much you can do as a parent when sometimes you need to step out and say, hey, I need help. So I think that he should have took her to get the help she needed, get evaluated, and look for somebody professional that does this for a living, that is like mutual sides. Like they're not one-sided. They only want to protect her assets because they want to go spend her money. Like that's not right.
I don't disagree. I mean, didn't she write a book? I think a book is about to come out where she's
it
gonna
comes out this
tell everybody. Yeah, she's gonna tell everybody how her family took advantage of her. This is hard to hear. Didn't you mention to me before? There's a girl named Jeanette McCurdy who also went through something very, very similar to what Brittany went through with her family, of her mom, who unfortunately recently passed away. And guys, she wrote a book that says, I'm happy my mom passed away, which really caught my attention. I was like, whoa. And she's literally holding an urn in her hand on the front of the book.
Yeah.
So this was a really deep, serious situation, because I was like, I've never really heard anyone say those words before. So to put it in a book and take a picture with an urn, I knew it was going to be something intense and insane. And for someone who read the book, you told me that her mom forced her into the industry.
Yeah. Her mom basically lived her life, her hopes, her dreams through her daughter. Her daughter just wanted to be a normal kid. She has some siblings as well. And she just like took to her daughter, and she was like, she even gave her like an eating disorder where she would like make her count calories and only eat a certain amount, to where she's a child, only eating like a cracker and maybe a piece of lettuce. Like it was very, very sad. And she battled with this her whole life until her mom passed away. She felt like she was finally free to live. And it's just so sad to see like how many of these celebrities are like starting to like tell their stories on how their own family that's supposed to love and protect them are like the ones hurting them.
I know this is a close subject for you, DeeDee, because you've experienced a lot of family situations as well. And now that you've entered into the acting world, how do you feel about the idea of someone forcing their child into the industry? Because you've seen the industry, you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, how do you feel about, like, if you had a younger child, and they had a look, or they were good at acting, singing, how would you feel about pushing your child into that if it's not necessarily something they're asking you to do?
If they don't ask, if they're not, wanting to do it, I wouldn't push it on them, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of, hours. You got to train like so many hours. You've got to do a lot of traveling. You're in the public eye. And then once your face gets out there, once your name gets out there, it's like, the more people know what you're doing, it's like you having to look behind your shoulder or look over your shoulder. Then you have to face, criticism, and then backlash. So, I mean, it's a lot, especially for a child that can't legally defend themselves. It's a lot. If my children wanted to, I would want them to be at least of age before they did it. That way they would know how to handle a situation. Small children don't know how to handle it. Like me, I live in a small town, and my face is out there now. My name is out there. So I'm having little by little people start to come up to me. Hey, you're on the podcast, or hey, we see your social media. Oh my gosh, you filmed with this person. Oh my gosh. And I love it. I love it, but sometimes it can get overwhelming.
But yeah, even as an adult, because there's no off switch. Like when you're out minding your own business, people can walk up and take a picture of while you're eating, or while you're talking, or while you're doing other things. Like there's no off switch. And I think for a child, children need to be children more than they're doing anything else. And I think when
Exactly.
they enter into the world of acting, they're doing an adult job. As an actor is a job that you should be 18 years older to do. You know, you wouldn't hire a 7-year-old to be a cashier at Walmart. So, but it's essentially the same thing. You're doing an adult's job as a child, and you're expecting that child to cope with the pressures. And then it's even worse as an actor, I think, because acting, you can be filming for 15, 20 hours. I remember on one movie, we were filming for 22 hours, and I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. This is insane. Imagine a child on set for 10, 15, 20 hours, and you trying to explain to a child why they can't go on break, why they can't go to the bathroom, why they can't have something they need to get the shot. They don't get that. The children don't get that at all. I definitely feel like pushing your children into that is horrible. And that book really shows the lasting effect that happened, because Jeanette McCurdy really put a lot into that book, and she told everything. She said the eating disorder, the hatred for her own mother. It was so deep. When I heard that, it really touched me. Okay, so I want to switch gears a bit, because NSYNC put out a new song yesterday. What's the name of the song? I can't remember the name of the song.
I haven't even had time to listen to NSYNC, to be honest.
So I know for a lot of people this is a big deal. So they put out a new song, Better Place, and I'm just gonna put this out here right now. All I heard was Justin and JC. So apparently in the last 25 years, nothing has changed, because Justin and JC sang all the songs. So I listened to the song a few times, and I was like, man, I don't hear Lance, and I don't hear Chris, and I don't hear Joey. Just don't. But it's a good song, and the world is very interested in seeing NSYNC get back together. And I have a very unpopular opinion, because in my opinion, I don't care, because I feel like every time I go to a party or something and want to play a throwback, forced to listen to NSYNC, I Want You Back, or Dirty Pop or whatever, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm sick of these same 7 songs. And it's like, I know that there are people where this was the best times of their lives, like those times when
no one likes haters, so.
I'm not hating. I think NSYNC is
if I had to choose a group or that that I listen to, anybody other than NSYNC, I would have to say hands down Backstreet Boys.
Well, see,
I love Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys stayed together for the most part. I know that left like a very short time. Like, so you're lucky. You never had to experience what the NSYNC fans had to experience. Like, after like 3.5 years of complete bliss and hit after hit and tours and everything, NSYNC just decided to go zitta, nada, nothing, break cold, which, was kind of like death for some people, the death of their favorite group. So, like, if you're a Backstreet Boys fan or a 98 Degrees fan, you didn't really have to go through.
New Kids on the Block. I like me some New Kids on the Block, too.
Kids on the Block. Yeah, so
they rolled through.
Right. They rolled on through, but NSYNC I think that this is needed because the abrupt end of that group. No one saw it coming, right? I feel like when they broke up and they stopped making music, it was not something that we saw coming, and no one really got over it. So I think that's why it's so needed for them to be back. But apparently they keep saying it's just for a movie and one song. Do you believe them? Are they liars? Like, what are your thoughts?
They're okay. I think that there might be something else out there. They've been doing a lot of stuff together, like a lot of like promos and like recreating their old like photo shoots that they used to do for like the teeny bopper magazines and stuff. I think like everybody is trying to say that they swear up and down they're gonna tour, and they like all the generation that grew up with Backstreet and NSYNC, they're like, if you didn't grow up listening to Backstreet and NSYNC, you better not be on Ticketmaster buying nobody's tickets, because all the 30, 40-year-old women are going to come for you because we have we're willing to, raid our husband's pockets to get this NSYNC ticket. So I don't know if there's going to be a tour. I really don't. I mean, I think that they know that they would benefit financially from it, because literally people waited so many years, but I don't think they're done doing with whatever they're doing. I feel like something else is coming. I really do. I don't know if it's a tour, but they keep hinting around.
I don't know. I know that they come back together to do a song for a movie that's coming out. And then now, since they did that, it's got out that they did that did a song for that movie. Now everybody's wanting a tour. Everybody's wanting them to start traveling again. So who knows? But NSYNC. I'm not a real big NSYNC fan. I'd rather watch New Kids on the Block or Backstreet Boys. So just saying.
I said take it or leave it, right? I said take it or leave it. I would go see O-Town. Like I would go see O-Town. But like all of them, like Ashley to come back. Like all of them though. Like I saw them without Ashley and it was fine, but I would like to see them. Oh, hypothetically speaking, if they went on tour, how much would you be willing as an NSYNC fan and woman to pay for one ticket? Because you know Taylor Swift has really upped the bar when it comes to purchasing tickets. So like what is something that you would be willing to pay for this once in a lifetime reuniting of NSYNC? We're not saying it's going to happen, but like if you were on Ticketmaster, what's a number where is a deal breaker for you?
$10.
Oh wow. I would probably pay like no more than 500.
What?
Oh wow. And this is for like
That's
backstage
because-
meet and greet?
No, that's just to like go and have a good seat. But I know like if I said any more, you wouldn't talk to me for like a week. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it with that.
I think that $500 is insanity, but I will say the fact that they haven't been together or toured together in over 22, 23 years, you know, it's not outrageous.
There's gonna be a price tag.
There's no way I would pay that to watch nobody. Okay, there's no way possible. No.
I love
my
concerts.
You do know that people are paying like $3,000 and $4,000 for Beyonce tickets, right?
Yes, I know that. I mean, like, no. If I have to, no. That's what you call YouTube. That's what you call turning on YouTube and listen to it for free.
I like Beyonce. I like Beyonce. Back in the day, I actually met her at a mall at a meet and greet. And which lineup was it? Her, Kelly, Latavia, and Latoya Luckett, actually. Yeah, and I met them at a mall with a meet and greet at a music store. Oh my God, I can't remember. I'm aging myself. I shouldn't even be telling this story. Camelot. Okay, so Camelot, and this was in Louisiana, and 4 people showed up to the meet and greet. Dang. It was Destiny's Child and Jagged Edge. And then after the meet and greet, Jagged Edge went outside of the music store and was sitting on like the little couches in the middle of the mall because nobody was there to meet them. Isn't that crazy? Because both of those groups were massive, just not at that moment. I think this was the single that Destiny's Child had out at the time was "Get on the Bus." It was "Get on the Bus." It was
popular in all the states either.
Right. And yeah, I got to talk to Beyonce. She hugged me. I told her she loved me. She said, "I love you back." Like, it was like an amazing experience. Like, can you imagine putting a price tag on what I got to get at that moment? What would you think Beyonce would charge to talk to her for 50, 20 minutes uninterrupted? I'm assuming like $25,000, $30,000, right?
That's what I was going to say. Probably around between $30,000 and $50,000.
Yeah. Like, there's no chance. Like, Beyonce doesn't communicate with regular people. Like, that just happened. That's communicate with normal people.
And you know what? And you know what? That is very, very sad. You know why? Because they wouldn't be where they were without the fans. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If they are not wanting to talk to normal people, what they call normal people, I guess, like us poor folks, you know, then why? I mean, they are where they are because we are supporting them like as fans. We buy tickets to go see them, or we support whatever it is that they're wanting to, their charities and stuff like that. They wouldn't be where they are without their fans.
You're right. Those people that showed up for that meet and greet, those were hardcore fans, and it's like now I know she can sell out any stadium or any baseball field, football field, whatever she wants to do. But there was a time, I have to say, when I went to go get a meet and greet autograph and nobody was there, Beyonce, there was a time. So you got to remember, you know, every step of your journey. And I think that's really important for these celebrities because a lot of times they don't remember every step of their journey. Oh, so I want to talk about some Kardashian drama now that we're talking about drama and journeys, because you were telling me about the Kardashians season on Hulu has aired, and there was a conversation that's been all over the internet between Courtney and Kim. I'm really with these Kardashians. Okay, so Courtney and Kim. So, okay, Heather, tell me what happened because it's been trending for like days.
I don't know why, to be honest with you. Like, they got into an argument from the prior season of the show. And basically, okay, Courtney is married to Travis Barker, and they had a really beautiful wedding. And she basically went with a vintage Dolce & Gabbana look. Like, they had like all these specials and everything on her wedding where they showed like how they came up with the designs, and they pulled from like the vaults and everything to give her like just this beautiful, like, just, they went with like just this specific look. So I don't know if like Courtney felt like she owned the look because it was like her wedding and it was so special, because anybody that kind of followed the Kardashians knows Courtney was in a long-term relationship with Scott Disick. They had children together and everything, but she was never the marrying kind.
Can I interrupt? I love the fact that I can follow along to this. Exactly what you're talking about. I feel so important right now because when people talk to me about Vanderpump Rules, I'm like, huh? Who? What? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you got to get on that too. But anyways, so yeah, she was in a long-term relationship with Scott, and you know, she was just never the marrying kind. So when she kind of got with Travis, he somehow was just magical and like changed her mind. So, you know, that was the first time she ever got married, and, you know, they're going to be having a baby together. So she was just really like passionate about her wedding and what she did. And these are her looks. So Kim basically, they reached out to her, and Dolce & Gabbana did. And they said, hey, we're doing, you know, our fashion shows like they always do. And we want to pull out our vintage pieces, and we want to, you know, do the runway show, tongue twister. And basically we want you to like host it. We want you to pick out all the collections and everything. And Kim was like, oh my God, like this is like a big deal. Like I'm stepping out on my own, because she divorced Kanye, and Kanye, whether people know or not, he used to like dress her. And he came into her closet, he wiped out her wardrobe. He's like, no, this is what you're going to wear. This is this, that, and the other. So when she separated from Kanye, she started to come out in her own. So she was like, wow, this is a very powerful moment. You know, I'll get to pick out my own pieces, wear my own stuff. And she was like, we're family. Family should always be happy for family. And she actually did take Courtney into consideration. She was like, no, I don't want to use like the black veils, because Courtney had like a black veil. And, you know, she kind of like went through the pieces and said, well, no, this is too close to what Courtney had. I don't want to do that out of respect. So Kim does the show, and they had a big falling out last season. So basically when this season started, it was kind of like rehashing it. They actually were fine. They apologized to each other, and Kim doesn't really ever like admit when she does wrong. So she actually was the bigger person. They, you know, hashed it out. They apologized, and they moved on. What caused the rift was that they went back and watched the editing clips of the season, and it like re-stirred up all that emotion.
I heard that Kim has a group chat with Courtney's friends where she talks shit about her. Is this true?
Well, kinda. She's friends with a lot of the same people. Kim did take a lot of jabs. So the conversation, the reason why it's trending so much is that they feel like Kim is in the wrong, because instead of like listening to Courtney and her feelings like she did last time when she apologized, she basically kind of like came for her. She was like, your friends complain about you, your children complain about you to me and stuff. And it's like, you don't go there with the children. You know, that's just, we learned that from, you know, the whole Love and Hip Hop situation. You just don't go there with people's children. But she basically said a lot of things that are hard to come back from, you know, and Courtney just basically just cried, and she was like, I hate you. And that was it.
I heard she called her a witch. Is that true?
She said you are a witch, and you are basically self-absorbed, self-obsessed, and the only person you care about is you. You're arrogant, and I hate you. And they basically hung up, and then Kim carried on with her day like it was just another day.
So
And
I have a question, because Kim has always been the center of attention, because a lot of people, I think in the fight, she said you're the center of attention, you're self-absorbed, you're self-centered. Do you think it's possible that Kim is not aware that she's making herself the center of attention in the star because she's so accustomed to being the center of attention in the star?
Kim is very aware of what she's doing. Kim
Yeah.
is very aware. Yes. It's all about Kim.
yeah,
All about Kim. Like sometimes it looks like the, you know, what I can see, you know, I'm not like, I don't watch it all the time, but when I will watch it a little bit, you know, the Kardashians, it's like the way I'm seeing it is they're pretty much like her shadow. They're like, she's like this, the main character, the main sister. And then the other sisters are like trying to follow in her footsteps. So, I mean, because in the beginning, that's all I heard was Kim Kardashian. And then after a while, then I started hearing about, you know, the other sisters. So it's all about Kim. She knows what she's doing.
Oh, actually, I have a question. Are Kendall and Kylie a part of the new show?
yes.
Because I haven't heard any drama between them. It's just because the new show premiered and this is all I heard. So I was like, so wait, are Kendall and Kylie even a part of it? Because you know, Kylie is like the biggest person ever. It's like Rihanna and Kylie. Like they're the two biggest women in the world. So I was like, I thought I would have heard something. So they're on the new show too.
They're on the new show too. They don't have drama. The time they showed Kendall and Kylie is they actually went on this like really short family vacation. It was like Chris, her boyfriend, and then Kendall and Kylie and Kim and Chloe. None of the kids went, and Courtney actually went somewhere with just Travis by themselves. She was nowhere.
Oh,
so they kind of
just
went
avoid. They're avoiding drama.
Yeah, like Courtney is not about that. I feel like when she got with Travis, she had like this, like, I don't know, like just this epiphany with her life that she was just like, you know, I don't want to, like you were saying, like be in your shadow. Like I'm not about the drama. I just want to enjoy my life and do this, do that. Courtney has always been the one that was part of like when their mom used to get them brand deals and stuff, like when they had like the Kardashian clothing and all that stuff. But Courtney has her own products. She does stuff with like health and wellness. She has like her Lemmy vitamins that she has, and you know, Chloe, she has her Good American, and Kim has her stuff, and so on and so on. But yeah, there's no beef or drama with Kendall and Kylie. I mean, Kylie basically is living her best life with Timothy Chalamet, and they're rumored to be dating Kendall and Bad Bunny. So no drama for them right now.
They're running the world. Oh, real quick, we got like 2 minutes on this section, but like I want to talk about Basketball Wives LA. Evelyn is making a return. And, you know, Evelyn and what's her name? Jennifer had some major beef. And, you know, Jennifer is still on the show. So I just want to get your quick reaction.
They squashed it.
So they're going to be totally fine, because you remember that Evelyn tried to lunge over a table at Jennifer, right? You remember this, right?
Yeah, no, they squashed it. Yeah, they did. Evelyn left.
So we're not going to get any fighting?
It's not going to be from Evelyn. No. She left for like other reasons. I don't remember why, because she'd been gone for a minute. I don't know if it was like the chat. She got into it with Jackie Christie. I think
well, Jackie's still on the show. That's what I'm saying. Like, Jackie's still on the show.
It's not just her. They actually mended their friendship. I think right before she disappeared off the show.
Oh well, that's boring. I wanted to see some drama. Like when Evelyn was on the show, Evelyn was throwing tables at people and chasing Jennifer, and I was like, "What?" So when I heard she was coming back, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna see some more tables flying, some drinks."
Yeah, we gotta have drama. We gotta see drama.
If there's no drama, I'm not interested. I'm good on that. So let's talk about airline drama, because we've been seeing a lot of stories of people going crazy on airplanes. Okay, so air travel is my favorite mode of transportation. Like I can't imagine losing that privilege, right? Because air travel is a privilege. It's not a right. They can put your name on a, it's called the do not fly list. And once your name is on that list, you are now blacklisted from every aircraft in the world. And that's my worst nightmare. Some people's worst nightmare is death. My worst nightmare is not being allowed on a plane so I don't have to drive places. I know you don't care, but I care. Like I cannot, like there's no chance. Like someone is like, oh, go to California, get in a car. I'll be like, well, I'll never go to California. I just won't do it. So what do you think possesses people to act so crazy and out of pocket on airplanes? Is it the closed in quarters or how hot it is? You know, they say people that live in states that are really hot, like Arizona, Nevada, Florida, they do erratic things, and they say it might have something to do with the heat. What do you think the deal is with airplanes and why we've been seeing people acting so crazy lately? Because they're risking their right to fly, which I think is insane. Like I feel like your right to fly is so important, and why would you play with that like it's nothing? Because how else are you gonna get to LA in 5 hours? You see, I posted on my story the other day. I was like, if the flight doesn't say nonstop, I'm not going. So like the idea that it takes you 4.5 days to get there, I just wouldn't go. Like I don't care what they got going on, I'm just not going. Thanks for the invite, not going. Cool.
Well, I can say, you know, from the one and only time that I have flown, like I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't know, like I think I flew a Delta, I believe. Well, I mean, I was okay at first, but being closed in, you have a lot of people around you, you have a lot of strangers, you know, and then it's really loud sometimes. And I remember like I'm very claustrophobic, and whenever we would go through like clouds, or and then you know I wasn't able to see out, or they would lift up the what do you call them thingamajiggers, the brake light thingamajiggers, you know what I'm talking about, like to slow the plane down, I guess, because we're going too fast, or we're ahead schedule or something.
Those are speed brakes.
Okay.
They come up off of the wings like this.
Yeah.
And they stop the airflow. They stop the airflow over the wings, which will slow you down.
Okay. Well, then that happened. So yeah, I think it's a majority of just an overwhelming feeling that you're going to be on a plane for so many amount of hours. You know, some people, they travel over 20, 30 hours on the airplane. It's just like, I guess it gets overwhelming, and especially if you're claustrophobic or you can't get up and move around a lot. The seats are practically on top of each other. The aisles aren't, you know, wide. You want to go to the bathroom, and then you got all these hundreds of people on the airplane having to use the same bathroom. So it gets overwhelming, and you get frustrated.
I think that people forget when you do these things in public, there's always somebody recording you. And like, I don't know if they're thinking about like losing their right to fly, because I don't know like if these people that have been acting crazy on these planes actually got banned from flying. Like they never see them and tell them that. They don't say if they're like not welcomed on that airline ever again or whatever. But I don't know if they're also thinking about the actual video viral situation that they're going to be a part of, because a lot of these people, this happens to them and then their job ceases, or they get blackballed from something, they get fired from their job. There's like all of the situations that they weren't thinking of that they were caught up in. And it's like going viral, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I would love to go viral. Going viral isn't always good, right? If you're on camera cussing everybody out and screaming and acting a complete idiot, that isn't going to help you in a lot of ways. Like if you're trying to start a business or you're trying to get a job, those things, that video is going to be the opposite of help. So it's really interesting to me, because these closed quarters, all these cameras, and it's like every time you see a video of somebody on an airplane acting crazy, there's like 3 different angles. Everybody's recording you. And it's like people still do it. So it just makes you wonder, like what you said, is it the claustrophobic nature of the plane? Is it the heat? Is it closed quarters? Is it the strangers? Is it the weird smelling bathroom? Like what makes people do this stuff?
Well, you saw the videos with the recent ones where the women, there's that one woman, she got kicked off the plane because she started yelling, and I think she was like headed to Orlando, which is typical because there's a lot of lovely people. So we talk about the heat. That's one place that will do it to you. Well, they were trying to say that she was warning the plane because she saw like some type of like shapeshifter. So a lot of the videos that are like coming out are like being brought up with like conspiracies and, you know, demonic stuff or government related stuff. They're trying to hide the real truth from people, you know, by showing these videos. And
do you think that there's like shapeshifters and demons and stuff on airplanes? Like, is there, because I know conspiracy theories are cool and fun, but like, how much of this do we believe? Because I feel like shapeshifters wouldn't need to be on an airplane, because couldn't shapeshifters just appear wherever they want to appear? You don't need to fly there, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I know that they were saying something is what scared her is because they were having a conversation, and whenever he blinked, he didn't blink like a human. It's like it went that and like blinked down like we do, and then it went like side to side, and that's what freaked her out.
What? So they recorded her, but no one thought to take like video of the guy who blinked weird, because I kind of want to see that.
They never showed him. They never showed him. I watched the video.
They never did. I watched it too because I was like,
they never showed him. And then she went on camera later on apologizing and saying like, oh, you know, like she was making up all these excuses. That's why like a lot of people, conspiracists, you know, they're saying that it might be something with a bigger picture in the world that they're trying to hide. Because
they probably paid her some money to stay quiet.
Yeah. Her story. She caused such a big scene and commotion, and now all of a sudden no one had heard from her. And when they did, all of a sudden she's like, you know, trying to take back her story. And it's something more that I think is going on. They don't necessarily want us to know that there's something going on. We'll find out the next election. That's when all the stuff happens, is election time. So we have like what?
I know, right? Something always goes crazy on election.
And that's when the pandemic happened. I mean, I'm telling you, like, there's going to be something. So whether or not we find out, maybe the aliens they speak about will start coming around. So wait on
the government. I read somewhere that the government finally did release information, that whatever information they had about aliens, they did release it, right? And I feel like we always knew they were always hiding it from us. It's like, well, why are you hiding it from us? If they're not a threat to us, like, why was it a secret? You know, it's really interesting. I try not to get caught up in conspiracy theories because a lot of times they're a dead end. But now that a lot of the information is coming forward and it's finding out to be true, I really do wonder about the things going on around us. And like you said, and there's an election or if there's something important going on, something will happen. Something will deter us from what's really happening. And like when that video, she kept saying that guy's not real, that thing's not real. No one ever thought to pan over to the thing that's not real. And I was just like, this is just really weird to me. Because the way that she was acting, a normal human being would not react that way on an airplane if they saw something normal. I just wanted to see the guy she was talking about so bad. I just wanted to see what she thought wasn't real. And like you said, conspiracy theory, nope, nobody's going to show who she's talking about. And then like a day later, she's sorry.
And in the video, after she got off the plane, she was still in the airport looking out at the plane, trying to speak her truth, and then got escorted by like regular, maybe like security or whatever. But I would think if this was like something that was like really happening, they had the person that is on the airplane that would have escorted her out. We all know they're like in everyday clothes and they're like the police security. Yeah. They would have handled the situation without her acting a fool. She would have been hanging out, looking out the window. They would have took her ass out of the airport. So she wouldn't be causing panic to all the other people flying. Because if you see some woman flying off the handle and you're about to get on an airplane, I don't know about you, but that's a red flag to me, because I would be like, oh my God, Final Destination. What does she know? Are we all going to die? Like, I don't want to get on that plane. I am telling you.
Yeah, because she kept saying too that plane was not going to make it to Orlando.
Yeah, that right there is inducing panic to the whole damn airport. So I feel like more would have happened. I don't want to say it was staged, but it was really, really weird.
I agree.
But these days, in all honesty, you really can't believe what's true and what's fake anymore. I mean, because the people that know how to really work, their social media, they can make something fake look so real. And it's so you don't know like what you're reading or what you're seeing if it's actually true. And then like all the aliens, I mean, we've known for hundreds of years that aliens exist. I mean, so what? You know what I'm saying? Like other things that they're starting to bring out that is happening in the world. We already know this. Like, it's all they're trying to do is control the people, and we're not going to be controlled. There's no way. They're running out of options. Like whenever COVID hit, then they wanted to talk about the killer bees. Then you only heard about the killer bees a couple of times. No one got scared, so they let that go. They finally let COVID go because COVID's been around since 1956. It had a different name. They just put COVID on it to scare the people. You know what I'm saying? So, and then they use all this other stuff that's been around. They're just renaming it, or either they making up stuff just to be able to try to control and scare the people. And now since the people are seeing that everything is fake, we can't be controlled. We're not going to be scared anymore. And so now they're trying to come up with all these conspiracies or these things that's going on. Okay? I mean, what were we supposed to do whenever we found out about the aliens? We've known for years that aliens exist. I mean, okay?
It'd be really strange that in this massive universe and our tiny little planet and these hundreds and hundreds, well, thousands of different planets, we would be the only living beings in that whole universe. I would find that super strange. Like, I would be like, why are we the only people alive in this whole realm of a universe? It's like, yeah, there's no oxygen up there, but there was no oxygen here at some before, the water got here and everything. Like, I don't know. Like, I was raised in the church, so I was always taught to believe, whatever is in the Bible is whatever's happening in the world. Don't believe anything else. But I also find it really weird that of all the thousands of planets and all of the things out there, we're the only living things. That would be strange. Like, that's like, because on Earth, human beings aren't the only living animals. There's insects, there's mammals, there's fish, there's just all these different living things. So why would in the whole universe we would be the only things that are alive? That would seem more strange to me than the existence of the aliens.
Maybe the aliens think they're the humans and they think we the aliens.
Well, we're probably the aliens. Exactly. There's probably more planets of those type of beings than there are of us. There's one Earth with humans on it. Then there's probably other planets with other living things that are more similar to each other. And then we're the weirdos. That's why they kept coming here to look and see what we were doing. So like, well, who are those weird people with 2 arms and 2 legs? They're weird. And they were looking for us. And we think they're the weirdos. We're probably the odd, strange people in the universe that they want to know more about.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Who knows?
Oh, DeeDee, you sent me a story this week about a police officer who, what did he do? He arrested his ex-girlfriend who turned out to be his mistress, and he had her committed into a mental institution. What? Well, let's talk about that.
Yes, he was pretty much, abusing his power towards her. He had her on the ground, and he had her my English just went away, George. Sorry. He had her committed into a crazy, what do you call them things? Crazy place.
Mental
yeah. Because she come to find out.
The arrest was caught on video. There was a video of the arrest.
Yeah. But come to find out, she was his mistress. He no longer wanted to be with her. So his wife wouldn't find out everything that was going on. He from what I read and from what I seen, he acted like he was arresting her and have her put into a mental institution.
Which backfired because for some reason, one of her friends, someone videotaped or recorded on their phone the arrest. And luckily she was able to find someone to listen to her. And because, he brought her to the mental institution. It's like, oh, she's having mental episodes. Anything she says is not true. She's not okay. Luckily, she was able to get through to someone to tell her story, and they believed her, which was amazing. Because, in that situation, a lot of times people are like, oh, this is gibberish, you're not okay. He literally arrested her and had her committed because he didn't want to find out that he had a mistress. She didn't do anything to him. Apparently, this wasn't the first time that he tried to break it off with her. And she said, well, I'm going to tell your family. And he thought, okay, well, that's not going to happen. And he decided as a police officer that he was going to take matters into his own hands, have her committed into a mental institution. That's very nice because there are people who've been committed to mental institutions who were never released. Okay? Like they've never been released, or they could be there for months, years, depending on the situation. So what do you think the consequence for something like that should be? Because that is a complete abuse of power, but it's actually like a moral issue as well. Because what kind of moral stance does a person need to have? Because he clearly didn't have one. It's like these are the people that we're children to trust. If there's a bad situation, you're supposed to go to the police and they're supposed to help you. And then we hear these types of things where they're doing that opposite, the exact opposite for everyone, for the people that they said they were. So what we need to do, make sure that our public servants are actually here to protect. Like, is there a test that we can give them? Is there what? I don't know how to test morals and integrity, or is there a test for that? What are we supposed to do to make sure that people are being protected and not hurt?
I don't know what else they can do. I mean, because, they do background checks. They send them to school. They send them to speak to psychologists. I mean, they do everything that they're supposed to do to make sure that, this person is able to take care of, their county, their city, their country. But in some cases, and now we're seeing it more and more, that they are taking it's most common with like first responders, doctors, hospitals, lawyers. They're taking advantage of the position that they're in to be able to do these mean and cruel things to innocent people. I mean, you can't even go to a hospital anymore without them trying to pretty much, kill you. You can't go to a doctor anymore because same thing. It's like they don't care about anybody but themselves, and what's so sad about it, and I know this is going to be in another different podcast, but the same thing with like the human trafficking. It's the same thing. Yeah, that's a whole different podcast, but
in a different one. But a lot of first responders have been arrested in human trafficking things.
Yes,
which is super scary. Like somebody would go into the hospital or be brought in an ambulance to the hospital, and when they ask the person, like, "Do you have any family? Do you have anyone you can call?" and they say no, they are then sold into human trafficking because they know no one will be looking for that person. The people that you go to at a hospital who are supposed to help you, we're supposed to listen to you and make sure that they can give you the best quality care for your situation. Those are the people helping getting arrested in the human trafficking thing. Doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, first responders, ambulance, EMTs. It's the last people in your mind, okay? Like when I think of a doctor who's making way more money than anybody that I know, why would they be doing something so heinous and horrible to the people they should be helping and protecting? And it's like greed. It has to be greed, right? Because if you're a doctor or a nurse practitioner and you're making good money. So the idea that you would need to do that is insane. But yeah, we're gonna cover that on a different podcast because I'm getting really really emotional about it now. Yeah, we have to have more time and talk about that. But like you're right, we're in a crisis of people abuse their organizations to do horrible, heinous things to innocent people, and we have to make sure that the innocent people are being protected, especially by people that were paying their tax dollars to protect you.
This is like
I think that anybody that abuses their position, first responders, I don't care who you are, first responders, EMT, doctors, lawyers, nurses, whatever it is, you need to have the most severe punishment to the human race happen to you, because you're so wrong, because they're attacking the innocent people.
I don't think that this is anything new as far as police officers go. I mean, this is like what the biggest fight in America is, how they would abuse their power and treat the African American race. I mean, that's the whole thing. They take their power and it's almost like they were like either picked on in school, or they were like the school bully, and they decided that when they grew up, they wanted to have some type of like power, position of power where they could go and get people back. It's like, it's just crazy to me how people mistreat others as well as abuse their power. I think it's disgusting. If he wanted to be with another woman, if you're man enough to go and step out on your marriage and, try to be with somebody else, then you need to be man enough to just end it with the person. How cowardly do you look trying to concoct some crap about her being crazy and everything? Like, how do you even sleep at night? That is so disgusting to do that to a human being. And so what if she would have ruffled feathers and told his wife? Who cares? What's the worst? She's either going to forgive you or you're going to break up and get a divorce. And serves you right. You had no business. If you didn't want to be with her anymore, just simply end things, divorce her, and then be with a mistress. Or don't be with a mistress, be with somebody else. But you don't abuse your power, because there are children that are scared to go to police officers for help. There are grown adults that are scared. I myself, as a person, trust no one, even the people that I'm supposed to half the time. I don't even like when there are police officers around, and they could be the nicest people in the world, but the reputation that a lot of these people in power are given because of the bad ones, it's really sad, because you don't know who you can trust anymore. They all have the same uniform. They all have the same badge. Some of them are horrible people, and some of them are generally great human beings that truly care about one another and their jobs. But how do you decipher? They all
Exactly.
wear the same uniform. Yeah. It's hard.
But the true ones are far, how you say it? Far few in between. The true ones.
Yeah. It's like a bag of Skittles. Like, you don't know what you're getting. Like, and it's funny, Heather, you said they all look the same, dress the same, and wear the same badge, because it's like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's like there's 20 of them. They all look the same. They sound the same. They dress the same. Their badge is the same. But half of them are horrible, and half of them aren't. So it's like you don't know who to trust.
Exactly. You're going to find one of them and that has something different. One of them is going to have a different color uniform, and that's going to be the one that's golden. But you know what? To the naked eye, they all look the same, and you just never know. And that's sad. That's part of the sad world that we live in now, that we have to worry about. Is it okay for your child to go to school? Is it okay for your child to go outside and play? Are they going to get snatched in their front yard? Like, this is disgusting. When I grew up, my mom didn't have to worry about these things. I could go outside until, the sun went down or whatever. I could, go down the street. I can, walk with my friends to the park or, whatever. And they didn't worry. And we didn't have like cell phones and all that. You just didn't have that type of worry. Half the time, they didn't even lock the front door at night.
We never locked our front door.
It was just safe, or what we believed to be safe. And maybe we were just naive because we didn't have all this social media breathing scary stuff down our throats. But nowadays, I feel like you can't go one single minute, hour, second, whatever, without hearing something happening to someone or someone's child or whatever. That is horrible. you don't want to do anything nowadays. Everything is horrifying.
Oh,
It's
social
crazy.
media, it really has us living in fear. And
does.
so I don't watch the news, because if I watch the news, I'll never leave the house. I'll barricade myself in the house and I'll never leave. I just can't, because it's
feel
just so much negativity. It's like fear propaganda. It's like watching a scary movie or a horror movie. People like, you ever seen a good horror movie? I was like, yeah, 5 o'clock news. I just saw it. I'm freaking terrified. Like, I am so scared. I'm leaving my lights on at night. I am scared. I watch the news because that's how scary the world has gotten. And it's like, when I was a kid, I could go play anywhere in my neighborhood. I could be 3, 4, 5 streets away. I didn't have to even tell my mom. I could just go roam about. Nobody worried. And it's like,
You
now
always
we're
came home.
reading. I always came home, and now we're reading about traffic. People, children never coming, disappear, kids that have been gone for years. This is
nothing.
Right. What is happening in the world? We really have to. And the people who are supposed to be protecting us from this are sometimes a part of it. I think that.
And that's the sad part. That's the most sad and scariest part. Because, like, what if you're going down the road and you don't, say, for instance, you're speeding, you don't realize it, because, you know, in some cars you can be speeding, you don't really realize it, especially if you're by yourself, you're like zoning out. Your heart's going to drop to your stomach, because you're going to be like, is this cop going to actually be a true cop and then just give me a ticket? Or is he going to come up with something to try to say that he's got to arrest me and then take me somewhere and sell me in human trafficking, or sexually abuse me or something like that? I mean, it's crazy, especially for men and women. It's not, and it's for both, but
Yeah.
they look more for women because women can't defend themselves like men can. So they prey on women more than men, but they do prey on both, and especially children. That's the sad part.
Well, we're out of time for this week's episode 2. We're going to come back with episode 3. We have so much more to talk about. I feel like we never have enough time to talk because there's so much going on and there's always some news. I want to talk about Taylor Swift news this week, but we'll get out of time. We'll save that till next week. Hopefully she's still dating Travis next week. We can still talk about that because, she moves fast, and I just want to catch it while it's hot. So we're going to come back next week. Hopefully next week, will be joining us. We'll have a full roundtable. I feel like the roundtable is fun. We get a lot of different opinions and personalities, and we just get different aspects of different stories. And I love how everybody brings their own passion and stories to the table, and we all just dive in. So if you're listening and you want us to talk about, make sure you send all a DM or a message. Some things that you're passionate about, what you want to talk about. Maybe it's something happening in the news now, or something you just doesn't get enough attention, because the news is very picky on what gets attention and what. So thank you so much to my co-host DeeDee Casteel and Heather C. George Mossey Show, the Pop Culture Podcast, episode number 2. We're gonna be back next week with episode 3. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and we'll talk to all of you guys really soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.